John Less here of Less Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. I've got another really cool broadhead to test today. It's another one by Iron Will. And if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you see that I really like Iron Will broadheads. I've tested quite a bit over the years, used them on really crucial hunts like a moose hunt in Newfoundland and many other hunts as well. And man, I just love everything they've ever come out with. Well, now, just in time for turkey season, they've come out with a turkey head. It's called officially their turkey and small game head, but the one I'm going to be testing today is especially for turkey because it's their wide model, and man, it's got this cool little claw to it and stuff. I'll go through it all in a second, but I'm really eager to test this, and I'm going to be using my protocol for 2025. And for a detailed description of why I do what I do and how I do what I do in the testing, please check out the video that I posted earlier this year called 2025 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll explain it all. And for the shooting, I'm using my Elite Archery compound bows that I am just loving, and I'm also, for the flight testing, using my Killer Instinct crossbow. I really love the crossbows that Killer Instinct comes out with, and it helps me to really be accurate in that broadhead flight testing. For all the arrows and bolts, I'm using Bishop Archery arrows, a couple different models, as well as their goat bolt, because it's just such an amazing bolt, and so I really love their stuff. Let's zoom on in here and go through some of the design features and specifications, and then check out this Iron Will turkey and small game head. Here's a good look at this Iron Will turkey and small game head. And I just got to say, the same thing I say every time I test an Iron Will is when you open up the package, you do not wonder where your money went. I mean, it is just obvious. This thing is a work of art. The precision, the quality of materials and craftsmanship just scream at you. Really well made. Even like if you were to look through a really strong magnifying glass or even a microscope and examine the edge, just the sharpness of it and straightness of it compared to almost every other head on the market, or the vast majority of them, it's just night and day. Even through this camera, I can typically see little I don't know, chips, but little like imperfections in the edge, but not so much with this. So really well done. And this is their turkey and small game head, as evidenced by that claw, as they call it. So let's start first with the dimensions and some of the specs. This is a 125 grain wide model. So it has a wider cut, 1 3/8 inches of cut this way and 9/10 this way. So a total cut of 2.36 inches. That's a nice cut right there. And again, this is a wide 125 grain. They also make 100 grain wide, and then they make 100 grain with their smaller cut, the 1 1/16 diameter, and 125 grain with a smaller cut as well. So you have 4 different options to suit your desires. I really like this wide one for turkey, no doubt about that. Okay, let's dive into the materials. So the materials are A2 tool steel. Both the blades and this claw are made out of that. And A2 is one of the best steels you can use for broadheads because it allows there to be an extreme hardness to it. Like these are hardened to 60 in the Rockwell scale. So the Rockwell hardness is 60. If you took a stainless steel and brought it to 60, it would be so brittle. It would really chatter and fracture on impact, which does happen with some of the heads I see. But with A2, you can bring it to that kind of a hardness, and yet still, because of its Sharpie V-notch score, its resistance to impact, man, it holds its edge and it doesn't chatter and it doesn't fracture. So you get the best of both worlds in A2 steel, and it's really good A2 steel. There's other A2 steels that are out there that are not this kind of quality. This is, again, top of the food chain type of steel, so it can be really sharp and, again, hold its edge and really durable. And the blades are 0.062 inches thick, so really thick blades. The length is 1.39 inches. Now, the whole idea of this being a turkey head is interesting, okay? You've got the claw, and the claw does a few things. First of all, if you miss, then this arrow is not going to be skipping through the woods, losing your very expensive broadhead, okay? And that's nice. When it catches on grass, it's just going to stop, or it's going to flip up, like flip on end like that, and stand up to where it's a lot easier to find. You're not going to be as reticent to shoot it at a small game animal or at a turkey for that reason, so it helps you in that regard. But in terms of what it does for the turkey is, one, it just packs a wallop. So this is going to penetrate really well, but this dull, and this is dull, this is just flat. This hook is just going to dig in and cause all kinds of damage to the turkey. It's going to rip a nice hole in it, but it's not going to penetrate so much that it zips right through. In most cases, it's going to embed inside the turkey. Now, there are times that I've always thought, well, why do that? Why not just use a big old mechanical head and have it zip right through, and then you get a big hole all the way through? Well, there's a few reasons for that. The biggest one is that it impedes the penetration, allowing the broadhead to stay in the animal, so that if that animal goes running off with it, this head is just, the whole arrow is just shaking up and down inside that animal. And let me tell you, these things are really sharp. There is no broadhead over the years that has drawn more blood out of my fingers than iron wills. There are many times that I'm working around with them, and I look and I start to see drops of blood, and I'm like, wait, where's that coming from? And it's my finger, I didn't even feel it. But man, these things are so sharp. So when I picture this flopping around inside of a turkey that's running off with it inside of it, if it doesn't die in impact, then man, it's just going to cause all kinds of damage, and it's not going to run off far. So I really like that overall design purpose of this claw for lethality in turkey, as well as for protecting the arrow and the loss of the arrow. Now, for resharpening, you don't really sharpen this claw. For resharpening the main blade, I would use the Stay Sharp Guide gray guide. They have a gray guide that's designed perfectly to use with iron will to really bring a nice edge back to each of these different edges. And another really good thing about it, okay, the price is, it's not cheap. It's $43 per head, but I have a discount code. Finally got a discount code from them. If you use Lusk Free Ship, all in caps, Lusk Free Ship, you get free shipping. So it saves you money on the shipping, which can be pretty pricey. So hopefully that helps out a little bit. Really looking forward to putting this head to the test and seeing how it performs. The Iron Will turkey head got the 10 ring. It took 146 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for being under the threshold of 200. It penetrated 7 inches. But more importantly than that is, look at the damage this thing caused. I mean, it just ripped a huge hole in the MDF, created this huge bulge in the back of the rubber foam mat, and carried pieces of the MDF all the way into the gel. It only took an additional 3 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.94 on a 10-point scale. And new this year is when both the sharpness and the edge retention scores are under 200 grams, it gets an extra special bonus. It penetrated through 43 layers, and that penetration was impeded by this turkey claw that's intended to do just that. It ripped a pretty big hole in the cardboard. It's in perfect condition after the 3 shots through the MDF. And here it is after the 2 shots through the steel plate. The head itself is in excellent condition. The edges, you can't even tell it's been shot. However, on the second shot, the claw, the turkey claw, broke off. With it being blunt like that, it's just too much force, I suppose, on it, and it just broke off. And then you see the holes. It made really nice holes in the steel plate. here it is after all the durability testing. It still spins very well. On the steel plate, it lost its barbs, the turkey barbs, but that's because they're so thick. I mean, they stick back, like they absorb the full impact into the steel plate. And then into the cinder block, it did really well. Ferrule didn't bend at all. Tip got a little bit nicked up there. There's this dent kind of in the back. That's from another head hitting into it on one of the shots that I was doing some of the testing, but that had nothing to do with the test for this head. But overall, really good durability in the head itself. So what'd you think? Man, it did really well, right? I mean, it did great in the scoring and just great in all the tests. I really like this concept with a head like this. I don't like the concept of turkey heads being blunt all the time. Sometimes I think, why be blunt? Just cut right through the doggone thing. But in this case, with such a razor sharp fixed blade head, to have that head buried inside of the turkey and then jostling around if it goes running off, man, I really like it. So I wish I still lived in Iowa where there's a bunch of turkeys to hunt, but I would love to be able to stick this one deep into a turkey. But hey, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most and see if it might be a good fit for you. And also stay tuned for the score sheet, the cumulative score, and the corresponding lust grade, and a list of all the discount codes that I can provide, including Iron Will. I was really glad to finally land a discount code from Iron Will. So if you use Lusk free ship, all in caps, then you get free shipping, which, hey, that saves you quite a bit of money. So hopefully that can help out. But hey, great job, Iron Will. Look forward to seeing more of your stuff in the future.